Hello everyone and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. My name is Steve Eunice. In this, our March 1st, 2021 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including the news about a reboot Superman movie. We're going to be talking the first episode of Superman and Lois, just a few minor things that have happened this week. And we're also going to turn to you to ask your questions and comments on any Superman topic you would like to discuss. And to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Doing well, and yourself?
I don't know, man. I don't know how we're going to fill the show today. There was just nothing in the world of Superman last week. Nothing that dropped and caused the internet to break in half. Nothing that caused the internet to run with speculation about things that aren't there. And no new shows. So
nothing.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably not even going to get to, like, House of L, which I finally read.
So thanks for joining us for WGBS. That's the end of the show tonight. No, we do have lots to talk.
This is WGBS Live, and WGBS Live is all about Superman, and because of that, we want to hear from the Superman fans that are watching us live right now on YouTube. So about halfway through the show, and if we don't have a whole lot going on, we're going to start taking calls. Well, how do we do that? Well, first, you're going to need Skype. Go to Skype, search for Superman homepage, and send us a message you'd like to chat with us live tonight on the show. Now, a couple of things. One, wait for us to call you. Message us first. Just don't call us because it can screw things up. And more importantly, if you're watching WGBS Live with an external speaker, please turn that down or mute it or whatever before we put you on, because we're on a bit of a delay and that can screw things up.
Yes, indeed. And for those who are tuning in live via YouTube for tonight's show, we invite you to participate in the comments there. Fellow people who are watching it with you will comment and ask questions, react to them, react to us. We will continue to keep an eye on that as the show goes on. And if you want your question or comment featured on the screen at the bottom there, live as we go to air, then feel free to post a super chat. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's a little dollar symbol there at the bottom. Click on that, a slider will appear. You decide on the amount that you're willing to donate, and we'll feature your comment or question on the screen. And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. We appreciate your support. Well, Michael, it has been one of those weeks in the world of Superman. It just seemed to be one thing after the other.
Yep, yeah, it was kind of crazy. I mean, we were all pretty much geared up for, Superman and Lois premiering, so there was a lot of stuff with that. But then, like, after that, there was more Justice League stuff. And then, apparently they are doing another Superman film.
Yeah.
In fact, so I guess we're starting there.
Yes, let's start there. It's the biggest story of the week, I guess, for the movie side of things, with Warner Brothers reportedly hiring writer I'm going to get this wrong. I actually looked up to see how you pronounce it, but it's Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's being hired to write a script for a new Superman film franchise with producer J.J. Abrams on board to produce, obviously. And the word is that they're doing a Black Superman movie. Now, there's a lot to pull apart in this. Ta-Nehisi Coates, he's an award-winning writer, author, journalist. He has also written comic books for Marvel, having done Black Panther and Captain America. I didn't recognize the name, not familiar with his work. A lot of people were saying, fantastic, this is awesome. J.J. Abrams has his fans and detractors. There are people who are on both sides of the fence there. As a producer, I don't know how much creative involvement he'll have, so I don't think there's too much to be too concerned with there. But the news that they're going to do a Black Superman, I guess there's a lot to kind of think about there.
Now, was that part of, like, the press release, or was that part of speculation and it's just kind of run wild?
Well, it wasn't part of the press release, but it has been confirmed by, like, Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, having spoken to Warner Brothers executives, that that's where they're going.
Okay, well, that'll be. I mean, at least it won't be another. Well, if it'll be an origin story, at least it'll be told from a completely different standpoint. I mean, I I'm ambivalent in all honesty.
Well, I guess there's three ways they could go here. Do they tell the story of Clark Kent as a black man? And that would, while being unique, probably cause a bit of a stir amongst fans of the character. While I'm all for, diversity and everything like that, he's an established character with 80 years of history that kind of goes against that being, from Smallville, everything. Like, I'm not going to get racist here. I'm not going to try to get into that that racism card. But there are black Supermen that are in the continuity of comic books. There's obviously Calvin Ellis, who was not just Superman on his world, but he was a president of the United States on his Earth. And then there's Val Zod, who would probably be my preference as a story, because that would still allow Henry Cavill to play a part as Superman if they tell the Earth 2 story that incorporated Val Zod.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this a bunch of times over the years, and I still feel this way. If you are going to change the ethnicity or the skin color, I guess I should say, of Clark Kent and make him a black man, you better go all the way. You better be willing to deal with that. A black kid growing up in a small town in the middle of America is going to have a way different upbringing than a white kid. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what a Calvin Ellis movie would be like, because it seems like the cool thing about Calvin Ellis is that he's already that he's the president and he's Superman. So are you going to tell the story of how he got there, or like can you frame an entire movie around that? I'm down with the Lore Zod thing, because that's
Val Zod.
Oh, Val Zod, excuse me, not Lore Zod. Val Zod, because that was an interesting take on the character. Again, can we pull an entire movie out of this? So, it's just when I heard that they hired Coates to write the film, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I read a couple issues of his Captain America run and rather liked it. And he's very good with character, but I'm wondering if the executives that that like Variety and all that talked to, it was just like one of those things where, well, this is something we've talked about, and it may be ultimately not where they're going. What I don't want is another origin story. If it is a black Superman, cool, fine. I'm down with whatever they do. It'll be an interesting thing. If it's traditional Superman, for the love of God, do not retell his origin. Because I could see it now. Well, we're really wanting to explore what made Superman Superman, because we haven't done that enough times in the past 2 decades.
Yeah, well, the chairman of Warner Brothers Pictures Group said, Toby Emmerich said, "We're confident that this take on Superman will give fans a new and exciting way to see the Man of Steel." New and exciting way of seeing the Man of Steel. Like, what does that mean?
Every time an executive from Warner Brothers says that, I'm like, oh, so it's going to just rip us apart even more. Perfect.
And, yeah, I mean, this could be very divisive. I mean, Superman's already a divisive character. I mean, Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and Justice League, have really split the fandom apart. I mean, back Smallville even split the fandom apart. We can never agree on anything. And, yeah, I actually asked a friend of mine in my column that I did for the Big Blue Report, Wayne Brooks, who is a huge Superman fan, lovely man, also happens to be a black American who owns a comic book store. And I asked him for his opinion on this news story, and he said it just seems off to him. He'd rather see an established character who is, black, told their story being told, rather than them using Superman to do this. So yeah, I guess it's a really difficult one to get your head around and to work out where they're going with this without knowing anything at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it on any level, because it's not like we haven't gotten, like, how many live action Supermans have we gone through in the past couple of decades? I mean, you got Tom Welling, you got Brandon Routh, you got Henry Cavill, you got Tyler Hoechlin, and it's not like that, and that doesn't even count the animated ones. So it's not like there hasn't been a dearth of this kind of stuff. The only thing I'm concerned about, and I'm not concerned about it like I think someone's going to get hurt, but like you said, Superman fandom is fractured as it is. Mm-hmm. This is going to bring a racist component to it. And I'm not saying if you automatically don't like this, you're a racist. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the racists that will make comments.
And this will obviously tackle the issue of race. Otherwise, why go down that avenue of changing, of having a Superman of color? I mean, they're obviously going to tackle that side of his story. So, yeah, and well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But interestingly enough, Michael B. Jordan, whose name's been thrown around ever since he joined Warner Brothers back in 2019 as a star in their in their franchise or in their films, has worked before with Coates. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not there's some kind of connection there that'll bring him into the fray.
Yeah, I mean, and if they cast Jordan as Superman, that's I have no complaints there. I've liked him in everything I've seen him in. He's a fan of the character, or at least a fan of comics, given his past interviews. So, the one thing that I think was of course that happened, that I saw more than anything over the past week since this announcement hit, is all these people just chomping at the bit to form mobs to convince Warner Brothers not to get rid of Henry Cavill.
And I do feel for Henry. I feel like he hasn't been given a fair go at the character, or a classic version of the character. And like I said, if they can keep him as Kal-El and use this movie to introduce another version of a Superman character that is established in the comic books as being black, then that could maybe go a long way to, keeping both sides happy. Probably not. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think it would be kind of cool to do something like the storyline from Pete Tomasi and Pat Gleason's run on Superman, where he goes and he's with all of the other Supermen from the multiverse. And that way you can have Calvin Ellis part of it and regular Superman part of it. But I don't think that's where they're going to go. I think they're using this as a way to kind of reboot the character and go from a new perspective.
Well, the word reboot
given
was
the comments.
Used.
Yeah. So I do agree with you though. Henry was not given he didn't get a proper sequel. We didn't get to see something that focused primarily on him. And before everyone was like, well, BVS was all about how he died, and Justice League is kind of like how he comes back. Yeah, but you got Batman involved, and he takes a lot of the light off the situation, ironically.
Yep, so we'll just have to wait and see where this goes. We'll wait for more information. It was obviously big news, and there's obviously lots of speculation on all sides of things. So watch this space. We'll just see where it goes. Yeah. But, people are saying, it's just great to have Superman trending, but do we just accept anything that they throw out to us as being Superman, or do we have our opinions and hold our line, so to speak? But just wait and see where we go. We can't really give too many opinions at this point in time, other than speculate. So let's see where they go with that. But yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League is about to hit our screens this month. We can finally say it's this month, with the worldwide as well as HBO Max debut, premiere of Zack Snyder's Justice League. He did participate in this pretty big, I think it was like 45-minute long, what was it called? IGN Fan Fest, something like that he participated in, and he gave us an inside look at where things are with Justice League movie, and revealed this really interesting artistic mother box origin thingo. Let's have a look at it.
The smart money's on Harlem, and the moon is in the street, and the shadow boys are breaking all the laws. And you're east of East St. Louis, and the wind is making speeches, and the rain sounds like a round of applause. And Napoleon is weeping in the carnival saloon. His invisible fiance's in the mirror, and the band is going home. It's raining hammers, it's raining nails. It's true, there's nothing left for him down.
So there's just a bit of it. That's half of the footage that they released of this CG mother box art, where the characters of Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, The Flash, Aquaman are all Cyborg are all parts of or sides of this mother box thing. I'm going to bring up the Superman image to see. Supposedly there's all these kind of little Easter eggs in there that you can supposedly see. What do we make of this?
I really just... I honestly, I kind of watched it once, but I didn't pay much attention to it because it didn't grab me at all.
I was just like, okay, this is very artistic and very, kind of Man of Steel, that the graphic when Jor-El's explaining everything to Kal-El about where he came from and using that kind of Kryptonian technology to give off the story. But obviously here we can see the spear of kryptonite. We can see the little USB key that Kal-El puts in the ship, and yeah, just some other imagery. But obviously again a Superman looking like he's a saint or something with the the pose and very religious kind of imagery.
I am a person that takes the superhero genre seriously, or as seriously as I don't think it's just pure children's stuff. Mm-hmm. I think you can tell a lot of great stories within that genre. I also think that you can take it way too seriously and suck every bit of fun out of it. And that is everything I've seen, because they showed the trailer for Justice League on TNT during the Superman and Lois preview, sneak peek, whatever they called it. And Rachel had not seen it yet. And she's like, what is this? I'm like, it's the Justice League trailer. She's like, why is Superman looking like Jesus at the front of this? I'm like, Zack Snyder. That is pretty much my only answer there. So it's just one of those things where, why are you trying to make this so pretentious? It's just like and I remember that day, after this whole IGN thing, there was a bunch of tweets just like, man, this is going to be so good. He's finally taking these characters as seriously as they were meant to be. Guys, it's a person that dresses as a bat that fights crime, with another guy from another planet that flies and shoots laser out of his eyes, and a dude that runs fast, and another guy that swims. There is only so far we can take them before it's beyond the pale.
Yeah, before it becomes a parody of itself. Yeah, it's very nice visuals. I just, yeah, like you say, it's just becoming a bit absurd after a while. Just release it already and be done with it.
But it's not. It's not. He's ending it on a cliffhanger, which was another thing that was revealed during this IGN thing. And I'm like, why? One, I understand why you're doing that, because originally that's how the movie was going to end. It was going to end on a cliffhanger, and there was going to be another film. I get that. But
they gave you money to do something else.
I do not. Given comments that I've read and the Variety article that came out last week and all that and everything that I've seen, I would not doubt that he's leaving it on a cliffhanger on purpose, because he knows the fan base will besiege Warner Brothers again and try to get him to try to get them to have him finish the movie, finish the second part. And then we're just going to have this all over again, where you have these people, yeah, they'll do good things. Again, I'm not arguing anybody that raises money for suicide awareness, but I also wouldn't like my friends getting doxxed because they had something negative to say about it.
Yeah, well, he definitely knows his audience, and he just keeps feeding them to raise the hype. I've never known a director to have so much sway with his fans, so it's interesting times, and March 18th, is it, when the Snyder Cut is finally released? 4 hours after that, we will obviously start the new hashtag of release the next cut, or whatever it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's already there, but
finish the Snyderverse,
yeah.
Bring back the Snyderverse, and them announcing, this new Superman film is not going to help things either.
So, that was the Mother Box thing for Zack Snyder. And just to bring the fun back a little bit into what's happening with the Snyder Cut, although we can't put colour in them, God forbid, we have Funko's new 4-pack collection of vinyl figures based on characters from Zack Snyder's Justice League. You've got Darkseid there, you've got Superman, you've got Lois. I'm guessing, is that Lois, or is that...
I think that's Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, okay, with a spear in her hand, okay, Diana. And then you've got Desaad, I'm guessing.
Hey, guys, how can we make Funko Pops pretentious? Put them in black and white. Perfect. Now, to be fair, I have a black and white Superman Funko Pop, but it was supposed to be a black and white Superman Funko Pop. It's just like, and I always love that, like, in the Superman movie Funko Pops, he looks like he's doing different sports. Like the ones for the first couple films, they got the Cavill suit and he's like playing football. Here it looks like he's doing like martial arts. I kind of dig that.
Yeah, no, it's cool. This 4-pack will be available for pre-order in the next couple of days, exclusive to DC Shop. So you'll need to get to the DC Comics store if that's something in your wheelhouse that you want to pick up. Black and white metallic.
I'm kind of mad at them right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of mad at the DC shop because I got a $10 coupon for keeping with DC Universe Infinite when it switched over from just the DC Universe. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll get this is a cool Man of Steel-esque shirt. I'll get that. So I and it's like $25. I put the coupon in. It's $15, and it's $10 shipping. So I'm paying. So I've had to pay, if I chose to, $25 anyways. And I'm just like, no, you know what? I'm done.
You can have my $10.
I don't care.
So just staying on Snyder's films, we had spoken about last week that he was releasing a new edition of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice to Blu-ray. We now have the cover of that box It is the remastered version, changing the aspect ratio to for the IMAX sections, the IMAX sequences, and also regrading the color. And that is I guess a steelbook version. No, maybe not steelbook. No, it looks like it's just a normal 4K Ultra HD box of for the Blu-ray. So that's the artwork for it if you're interested in picking this up.
Yes, and if you didn't already have the score to the film, which is where the first time I saw that image, I believe. I think it's the album art.
Yeah, it looks like it is the same. So that's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Again, we'll let you know when that is available for pre-order. All right, we're just about at the halfway mark of today's show. Before we do go to the break, let's do the fan favourite segment of our show. Let's get into that, and then on the flip side of our commercial break, we're going to get into the Superman and Lois premiere. But the fan favourite question, here is our intro. And the fan favourite question from last week was, what is your favourite Superman lamp or light, or something like that, along those lines? I think that was our question. Light or lamp, yes. And sadly, we had no responses. But I do have a couple of my own that I thought, hey, I'll show them. From the lamp side of things, just trying to find the images here. Here we go. From the lamp side of things, we have these, what do you call them? Lava lamp type of things. They rotate and give different effects when they go around the room. And there's a couple of them that I have in my collection, 3 in total. But lamp, the bedside lamp that I really like is this one. It's kind of faded a little bit, the lamp itself, but just a cute little bedside lamp with the Superman symbol underneath and some graphics on the lamp shade itself.
Yeah, when I got my new car, which was a used car, but it was new to me, back in 2015, my wife got me a light for it that you plug it into. I don't know what it's called now. It's
the cigarette lighter.
The cigarette lighter, but it's not really used for that much anymore. But you plug it in and turn it on, and it would put the symbol on the roof of the car, and it was kind of a neat thing. It eventually, unfortunately, died out because those things do that. But yeah, it was part of her tricking out my car with a bunch of Superman stuff on it. Fun fact: car seat covers wear out over time.
They do indeed. So that was our question. People in the comments saying, sorry, don't own a lamp, otherwise I would have participated. That's fair enough. It's a kind of an obscure thing. People do have some night lights they plug into their sockets that kind of light up at night for babies' rooms, or light up a hallway in your house when it gets dark. I've seen those around, and some people have light switches. I've seen some covers for their light switch covers, which are really cool. But what's our question for this week, Michael? Maybe we'll get a few more people involved.
Do you have a favorite Superman fridge magnet? And I'm kind of hoping Seinfeld writes in on that one.
Yeah, so send us some photos of your favorite Superman fridge magnet. Send the email to info@supermanhomepage.com, and we will feature those when we return to this segment next week. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're at the halfway mark of today's show. Place the messages and then come back on the other side of these messages to talk about the premiere of Superman and Lois. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying WGBS TV Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by visiting patreon.com/supermanhomepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Balmer. I'm the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Insiders say Lex Luthor to cut nation's power. Superman overpowers Lex Luthor. Alienware powers the nation.
Alienware. Embrace the power.
And we're back on WGBS TV Live. Alienware, I forgot about that commercial.
Yeah, I was about to say, remember when they were trying to get you to buy a computer and spend another couple $100 just to have Superman's S on it? When you can really just buy a sticker and do the same thing? To be fair, I did buy the Superman Returns keyboard and mouse and used that for a good 6 or 7 years before it just gave up the ghost. Because keyboards don't last.
Like lights and lamps. Okay, we're going to get into the Superman and Lois pilot right now. It aired last Tuesday night there in the US, Thursday night here in Australia, and it received really great reviews. Ratings were fantastic. Neil Bailey returned to the Superman homepage to not only do a Superman and Lois review, a lengthy, long review, which he gave a 5 out of 5 to, and that's pretty good from Neil, who's sometimes a bit of a grouch. He also did a very short kind of little video review, which is also up on our website if you want to check that out. I really recommend reading Neil's stuff. Geez, it brought back some great memories. I love his writing and his the way he just kind of puts things together. He's a talent.
Yep, no, I they didn't have anything involving Red Zone. So there really wasn't too much for him to complain about.
No, or squeaky shoes or anything like those that he used to do for the Smallville reviews. I'm sure there'll be stuff that irks him and that will be repetitive enough for him to be able to comment on in the coming weeks. But Neil and Julian Finn have also participated in a new podcast that we're publishing here at Superman homepage, and it's called Ampersand and Sons. Which is a kind of a quirky little name for the Superman and Lois podcast. And it's available weekly. It's up now on both iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and also on our website. So check out his podcast. And he and Julian's boys, their sons, also get in with their childlike reviews of I think one's 8 and one's 10 or 11. So you can get their perspectives on Superman and Lois as well. But Michael and I have also watched it, and I put up my review on the website. I absolutely loved it. Michael, what did you think?
I was impressed beyond what I thought I was going to be impressed with.
Nice.
I thought this looked and felt like no other CW superhero show. Mm-hmm. And that was brought into stark, not contrast, but relief, when there was a shot when Superman is being chased by who we learn is Captain Luthor, and there's like he's in the cityscape and he stops and the camera kind of turns around him, and I'm like, are they like doing a shot, or did they reuse a shot from the Superman fighting in the Crisis episode? So I had the show on my computer, So on my phone, I pulled up on HBO Max the episode of Batwoman where that happened, and right away I'm like, oh my god, this looks completely like
different.
The video quality and everything was just completely and utterly separate. This thing stands on its own,
cinematic
in a way that, yeah, it was very cinematic, and it also proved you can do color desaturation and it not be bad. Because there were shots, especially in Smallville, and it was really kind of to show how Smallville's degraded over the years. It was kind of a subtle, or maybe not so subtle thing, where I was just like, I see what they're doing, but it's not like Man of Steel where they desaturate the costume to the point where it's just like, what color is that suit? I only had one complaint, and it's not really a complaint. The music was very good for like 90% of it. But the Superman Returns, Superman 3 shot of him coming out of the water with the ice, I kind of wanted something more bump it up.
Yeah.
It's like the only thing I could really say. Because they didn't bring back the Blake Neely theme at all. And that was kind of disappointing. But I get that they're trying to go for something completely different. And the shot of him coming out of the water and saving the day was heroic, but they played it on such a different level that I think they're trying to not do like your typical Superman hero shots. I liked the kids. It was really... As a fan of the very short-lived Alien Nation television series from Fox, it was nice that the wife from that came back as Martha. I'm kind of hoping we see more of her because I really like that actor. The costume, he looks a little like beefy and like he's skipping leg day, but it looks great on camera. And I just started yelling at my television when that Fleischer suit, which is behind you right now, popped on the screen. And I'm like, you cowards, you utter cowards for not going for that as your suit. Oh, and I was like I was mad for like 30 seconds. But bravo to this show for showing the origin of Superman and getting it out of the way in 6 minutes.
Yeah, that was well done.
And 1 minute 47 seconds into this show, I timed it. They did more great things with Superman than like the Superman that I want to see than I saw in 6 hours, 7 hours of Justice League and BVS and Man of Steel.
Fair enough. No, I thought it was really well done. It had blended the drama, the action, the excitement. It just had all the aspects of a film, really. It felt like a movie, and not just the length of it, but the cinematic scope, the action, the depth that they went into. The sons, I liked them both. Obviously, they were kind of trying to trick a lot of people into thinking that Jonathan would be the one that had the powers when it's Jordan, and that kind of made sense to me when you think about it. Of course, Jonathan is really the Superman archetype. And Jordan is the Clark Kent. He's the nerdy, unsure of himself, and that's Clark, and that's what Clark grew up as. And so for him to have the powers kind of fits, and so I like that. And Sarah was a likable character. She wasn't the just look at me kind of CW girl that we get a lot. Who's just so into herself that she's unlikable, and even. Kyle kind of very much brought back the Superman 3, what was his name? Brad. You just can't stand this guy. He's just a guy. How did Lana ever end up with him? But,
one of the... I'm going to get a sentence out any second now. When it comes back from commercial to the funeral for Martha... They show all of these shots of Smallville, and they show like homes in foreclosure and city streets looking. It looked like an American presidential campaign ad where the person running is telling you that the person who's currently president isn't doing a good job, and look at all the terrible things that are happening to our country. Having said that, Kyle was obnoxious, but he also felt really real.
He had good point. He made a point that was, very true about people leaving small towns and not returning to give back.
I talk to guys like that all of the time at work. You can't, it's not, you can kind of say, they're just trying to make fun of Trump supporters and stuff like that. But no, that type of guy was like that before Trump, in all honesty. And it's this nice little, the only thing he said I found most of what he said objectionable, but he's like, house full of girls, someone's always mad. I wanted to just punch him in the face. I was just like,
gets
dude,
the reaction they wanted.
I grew up with 3 older sisters. I was blessed for this. Just because you can't handle... Oh, God. But it was interesting that he is kind of a foil, because at the end, he's the fire chief and he was helping people. So it's not like he's like a totally...
useless, yeah. He's not just a drunk.
So far, he's not a morally bankrupt character.
No, exactly. He's just jaded.
Yeah. I liked Sarah. I liked Lana's daughter quite a bit, because I thought she brought a lot of shading, again, that you don't see. The conversation she has with Jordan about the medication and her suicide attempt felt really real. My only problem with her is, at some point we're going to have to sit down and talk about your choices and boyfriends, because that guy has some obvious anger management issues. May not be the type of person you want to be around.
Yeah.
Because they were going to kill Jonathan.
Indeed. So as I said, the show did really well on the ratings. It had an average of 1.71 million total viewers and a 0.4 demo rating. It was also the second largest season or series premiere audience for the CW since Batwoman's 2019. It did really well. So the largest audience in 2 years. So well done to CW and everyone involved with Superman and Lois. And there's a couple of trailers out there. I'm not going to play them here because it just take too long. We've got a lot to get through. But there's a trailer looking at some upcoming episodes that you might want to check out. And there's also the cast talking about their first memories of Superman, which was pretty cool. Another one looking at Smallville that Superman and Lois obviously are moving to and taking their family into. Tyler also participated in an interview with DCComics.com, and they asked him what's it like to have your own show now, having played the character previously in other shows. And he says it's been nice to jump into something that feels familiar and yet at the same time entirely new and different. It's a nice way to kick things off when you're starting a new show. I think that's pretty cool, pretty spot on there with his comments. And the Daily Planet itself looked really good, and if there's a reason for that, they actually were able to use the real life location of a newspaper, the Daily Sun, the Vancouver Daily Sun newspaper offices were closed. Nobody was there because of COVID, and so they were able to, for the very first time, actually use that location for filming. And so there's a reason behind the fact that the Daily Planet looked like a real working newspaper, because it is.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad that we didn't spend too much time there. We got to see the one in the flashback, which is probably one of my favorite first meetings of Lois and Clark in film, because she wasn't obnoxious and seemed to kind of be into him from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Some questions from our viewers. John Patrick Van Pelt asking about what social anxiety disorder is. And I guess it's without having any... Yeah, go for it, Michael. You probably
I looked it up, and these are different things from Google, so don't take it that I'm trying to destigmatize or to be. Yeah, I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. A chronic mental health condition in which social interactions cause irrational anxiety. Now, irrational there is not meaning like the person, there's something like bad about the person. It's just normal social interactions are fairly normal, and social anxiety, the thing is that it's not just one thing. For people with social anxiety disorder, everyday social interactions can cause irrational anxiety, fear, self-consciousness, and embarrassment. So basically think of all the times you felt a little uncomfortable in a new situation, crank that up to 11 and never turn it off.
Yeah, very, very well articulated. So yeah, it's a lot of anxiety and stress, and just feeling out of place all the time in social situations. And I think Jordan, the actor Alex Garfin, who is such a bubbly and personality, played that really well. Just played that whole angry, just frustrated teenager really well, considering when you see him in person how bubbly and upbeat he is. But speaking of Lana and Kyle and that, CW also released some character posters for those characters, like they did with the others. So there's Lana Lang Cushing, played by Emanuela Chikri. Then you've got Kyle, her husband, and then, as I mentioned, Sarah, their daughter. And they are the 3 new character posters that were released this week. And then
everyone's getting a poster. Where are our posters? That's what I want to know.
Well, we could doctor one up, I guess, if you really want us to. The CW, during the premiere of Superman and Lois, were posting on Twitter these Easter egg moments that you might want to kind of latch onto. And I'm going to post some of them here. We've got this classic one, which is obviously Superman setting down the car, evoking the cover of Action Comics #1 from 1938. That's a pretty obvious one there. And then obviously you've got, I missed one there, but there was the Fleischer costume that was, a replica of that with the black behind it, behind the symbol. You've got Steve Lombard being mentioned. You've got Doc Fry. I didn't catch that one during the thing, but Doc Fry was Martha's doctor and is the same doctor that she mentions in Superman the movie as being Jonathan's doctor, who said to him that he should take it easy. Jordan is playing Injustice 2, which was an obvious one, but wasn't playing as Superman. It was playing as, is it Raiden?
So Raiden was in Justice 2?
Yes, there's it must be. I've
Okay.
never played it. This was a good one. A lot of people caught this one. Dr. Donna up on the chalkboard at the back there, and also Siegel and Schuster with a 1938 kind of phone number in there as a nod to those people, those creative people involved. The Crows pennant from Smallville, the TV series, the Smallville Crows, was also in there as well. So a lot of cool Easter eggs that were mentioned and thrown into the pilot, paying homage to some of the previous versions of the character.
So there was one that I kind of lit up for when Lois and Clark in the present go to the Daily Planet. They find out that one of their coworkers has been fired, and the guy says, "Wit." Wit was a background character in the post-crisis world. He was this bald guy with a mustache that hardly ever said anything. But it was just like one of those characters, especially when Jeff and I were doing the show, because we were paying so close attention to the comics, we fell in love with this guy. So I mentioned that on Twitter. And one of the writing assistants from the show, who I'm Twitter followers with, seemed like pleased that I noticed it. But here's the thing. two of my other friends, one that writes for DCComics.com and the other that writes for another site, got screeners of it. Both of them assumed that I had too, but no, Warner Brothers, you don't send me anything. Not that I'm bitter. Okay, I'm bitter. But they're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Watch the scene again. In the screener, he says Troop is getting fired.
Yes.
And it is really obvious that it's dubbed in the final aired version, because his lips are not saying Wit. They're saying Troop. But problem, and it's probably why they changed it, the guy getting fired was white. So
yeah, so Ron Troop, obviously not.
But yeah, like my two friends were like, "What are you talking about?" Guys, I just watched it. It said Wit. So yeah, I there were a lot of things, a lot of the Easter eggs that I really dug. I was most impressed that you can combine both Superman Returns and Superman 3 in one shot of bringing the ice out of the water. Also, props to having Superman fall to Earth like in Superman Returns, but it doesn't. But this one didn't look like a bad video game cutscene. This actually looked really solid. So.
Which is really amazing when you think about how far television, or special effects in general, have come. You know, this is a big budget movie at the time, and the effects look pretty horrible. And then you've got a TV budget now, and they look movie quality.
Yeah, they were totally movie. Yeah, they dumped some money into these special effects. They really did.
Yeah. Now she did call him Wit. Mike Zumo is saying, I thought Lois called him Wit. She did call him Wit, but in the screener version that was sent out to the press, and what I watched said Troop, meaning Ron Troop. But they dubbed that because the guy who got fired, as Michael said, was not a black reporter, which Ron Troop is in the comic books. So that's why they dubbed it over and made him Wit. So the next episode airs tomorrow night there in the US. It is called Heritage. I'm confused because some people are calling it episode 3 in some locations, and some people are calling it episode 2. It's obviously the second episode to air, but did the movie length thing take away one? I don't know. I'm calling it episode 2. It is called Heritage. Here is the promo trailer for Heritage, the upcoming episode airing tomorrow night.
And now, an exclusive sneak peek at what's to come on Superman and Lois.
After my father died, I felt pretty lost. I had a lot of questions about who I was, why I could do the things I could do. So I came here, found my answers.
You brought your son to me.
Why? Each power comes with its own burden. It's not just what you do, it's also what you don't do.
What's the point of having something special if you're not allowed to be special?
When your dad gets distracted, lives are at stake.
I know you can hear the bomb in my ship. Who the hell is Superman? Me or them? Make a choice.
Everything you do is a mistake.
I don't know who my kids are anymore.
If you don't like the way something is, change it.
I don't like his priorities changing.
It's called being a father.
I'm not throwing away time with my family. But if anything goes wrong, I will be there.
Superman and Lois. New series.
So there you go. There's the trailer for Heritage. A lot going on there. I think it's more than just the some footage from the upcoming episode, but there's some more stuff in there. But looks like it's going to continue on pretty well.
So what I kind of hope is that there's a giant inner tube at the mouth of the fortress, and that's how you get into the fortress, is you hop into it, just ride it down like an ice slide. That would be fantastic.
Sounds like there's a Jor-El AI.
Yep. Well, they cast Jor-El, so that makes sense.
So we also got some photos for the third episode, the perks of not being a wallflower, which you can check out on our website, and we also have a description for Haywire, the fourth episode, which will air on March 16th. So we've got a couple of straight weeks of episodes coming our way. Just moving on to other things that we want to quickly touch on. HBO Max have announced that as of today, March 1st, Superman the Animated Series is available in HD for the first time. Woohoo!
So when is the Blu-ray coming out?
Good question.
Yeah, because I've been waiting for an announcement of that because I want to pre-order it.
Okay.
Through the Superman homepage, I might add.
Nice, of course, as you should. So yeah, Superman the Animated Series coming our way very soon, or as of now on HBO Max in high definition, and that is fantastic. And as Michael says, the Blu-ray is coming in the near future. Also, this one was a surprise. The CW are showing both seasons of Krypton on the CW Seed streaming platform. Premiering, I think it's now. Both seasons are available to watch for free on the CW Seed streaming platform. And that's a sci-fi series.
Yeah, well, it's all owned by Warner Brothers, isn't it?
That is true.
It's probably why they can put it on the CW Seed, is because it's no longer on Sci-Fi. So,
indeed.
Though I would like to see what's his name, from the lead from that, like on an episode of Superman and Lois. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. We also have some sketches from Superman 78, the upcoming comic book that we're all looking forward to. The artist has shown us some cool sketches. His name is Wilfredo Torres, and he's shown us some pretty cool imagery, including a Bizarro. A lot of these are just prelim sketches that he has done. A lot of them are scenes from Superman the movie, I guess, for him to kind of show what he can do, or in an effort to kind of look at the character designs moving forward. A lot of these were promo photos and things of the characters that he's now used as sketches. There's Superman 2. So I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing an actual rendition of the Superman the movie and Superman 2 told within the 1978 or Superman 78 comic book, but we will see artwork that will look pretty cool, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm looking forward to both that and the Batman 89. I think they're both going to be fun series.
Yeah, the first digital chapter of that will land July 27th, so we've got a little bit of time before that hits our shelves. This week in the comic books, we've got Crime Syndicate #1, Infinite Frontier #0, which is one you'll want to pick up, and Suicide Squad #1. The reason I mentioned Suicide Squad is because it looks like Connor Kent, Superboy, will be incorporated into the Suicide Squad story. So be sure to check out those comic books out tomorrow from DC Comics. And the Super Trivia Quiz is available for you guys to answer all 3 questions for this month. So make sure you check that out as well. But that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's episode. Before we do sign off, I want to thank everyone for listening into and watching in this episode of WGBS TV Live. Thank you to all those in the YouTube comments for your participation. And thank you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Thanks, Mike.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And if you want to sponsor the Superman homepage, head to patreon.com/Superman homepage or click the join button below on YouTube. Michael and I will be back next week for our next edition of WGBS TV Live on Monday at 7:30 p.m. We look forward to talking to you then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching WGBS TV Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com. Bye.